join me in welcoming on stage our guest of honor, Mr. Sanjaya Gupta.
Thank you, Sapphire, and ladies and gentlemen, for having me over this morning. Well, I'm not so eloquent as Mr. Gurnani, and I'm doing such a thing after almost 4 years after I set aside from the corporate world. So I wrote something, and I really mean it from the heart, from the bottom of my heart. And when we say rethink HR, I would always go back to my past. I had a wonderful sort of corporate life for 38 years. And I will say, why can't we think back? All of us today know that human capital is becoming pretty volatile. But when people like me started our career way back in the mid 80s, uh, it was not like that. It was always joy and fun to go to work. It was always an identity that we had which was linked to our corporate life. So why all of a sudden, you know, we are talking of attrition rates, we are talking of lack of holistic managers, we are talking of fault lines, and as Mr. Gunani said, you know, we are really sort of fumbling to have good leaders. It's a fact. I mean, we can't shy away from it. So I would sort of start off with having a question to everyone, whether young or old, whether in HR or in a functional department. We have to be very clear in our minds when we set off on a journey, especially in a world of startups which are springing up everywhere. And there are brave startups now coming into research and development, that we have to be very clear about the human capital. Do we, so as most of you would be knowing, I'm a mortgage banker, and we always have this question whether build or rent. So similarly in the HR world, we have to be very clear from the beginning that we have to build our human capital asset or we have to hire from outside. I have no sort of reservation in saying that, you know, we need specialized people to fill in laterally to bring in knowledge to the table. But thereafter, what happens? Are we nurturing those people? Are we having a rub off effect? Are we sort of building our human capital to take advantage of such people? And that is where the fallacy happens. We are becoming too much KPI driven and we are becoming too much focused on the present or the near future, but not at a higher level of what the future would mean or take to be there to maintain that leadership position in let's say a midterm or a long-term game. Now, so I hope I'm making sense to you people. How do we maintain that leadership position? And I think that requires a lot of stability in the human assets that we have in the company. So first and foremost is don't hire in hurry to fill in a position. Hire with your future in mind. Where do you want to be in, let's say, the next 3 years or 5 years? Are you hiring people who have that vision? Are you hiring people who have lived through that? And especially when since I'm a banker, looking at balance sheet growth, and balance sheet growth is a common thing across all sectors and industries. Has that person really seen the journey? Do you really require? Or can you build that capability in-house in a reasonable time frame which will have a rub-off effect on a larger set of people? Will a lateral hire actually rub off a stable organization? These things have to be really thought of. And I think this is where the CXOs, the KMPs, the board, they all sort of falter. They want immediate sort of gratification and immediate results. They are not looking at investing their time, effort, energies in building a team which can steer an organization into the future. And this is where, especially in a country, now we are the most populous country in the world, we have very few employable people because we don't like to nurture. We don't like to give space for mistakes. We don't like to spend real valuable time on learning and development. How many PMSs, and this is a favorite of all the HR firms, if you sort of hire even a firm which is big enough, the big five, for your HR as an HR consulting, they will first jump to PMS rather than the process of making people successful. Are the leaders actually strategizing success of each individual person? A CEO, I've been a CEO right from I think 2005 to 2022. Pretty long journey. And of large companies, including the AIG Inc. New York. Are we ready to sort of invest time in learning and development of our own people? No CEO says that I've lived my life. Every CEO says I'm there for eternity. Very few people take the step what a person like me did it. Last term I said, no, it's time for me to go home. But a CEO says, no, I'm there forever, but the youngsters of my team requires a churn to get new talent. Now, Mr. CEO, if you can see the future and you can anticipate the change, like Mr. Gurnani was saying, AI, now, or a private cloud. Let me tell you, as a banker, the private cloud was there right from 2015 when I think IBM split the vertical between hardware and private cloud. But how many used it? None. Then came COVID and everybody started talking about digitalization. And let me tell you, as a seasoned banker, digitalization has created a lot of mess in the back offices. And that is why, when we are talking about NPAs now and reckless lending, personal loans without collaterals, nobody is blaming the boards. Nobody is blaming the CEOs. Everybody is blaming the risk guy or the underwriting guy or the collection guy. Now, if all these tools are available right from 2015, and I'm giving you a sort of a time frame, COVID only came in 2020. Why weren't you ready for it? Why weren't you utilizing it? So that is where I think there's a lot of, I would say, conflict between our ask from our teams and what we do for our teams. And that should be bridged pretty proactively to have a harmonious, amicable, conducive environment to work in and an easy environment to work in. Now, just I'm asking you a question. How many of you have taken a home loan? Just raise your hands. Yeah? What was your experience while taking the loan? The bank must be running behind you, right? In a crowded, mature, competitive market. But what happens after sales? You keep on knocking, they don't respond. It was so damn easy to do it. I turned around the largest loss-making company, PNB Housing, which was 100% government-owned and a unionized company. And to crack that, we utilize, private cloud to have the back-end system talking to our front line right back in 2015. That is why in 13 hours flat, when the COVID lockdown happened, everybody was working from home. Right? So that is vision. I'm not saying I'm the great guy. No, my CTO sort of, educated me, and the board appreciated that we spent time and resources. I know my time is up. I will just leave you with one thought. All of us across the world are today figuring out, especially in the new tariff regime, how to protect our margins, how to be profitable, how to be more profitable, right? Have we ever thought about that goods and services which we produce and deliver will leave us? What will stay back with us is our human capital. And in fact, that is the only asset that an enterprise has. If that is the only asset that you have, please take care of it. Thank you very much.